Welcome to another edition of Gary's Record Collection. This time out, we are changing up the format, not of the video, but of the music. We've had a lot of rock and roll. We've had a lot of other stuff too, some classicals, some jazz, some disco. So this time out, why not some mambo music? And if you're going to talk about mambo music, you really only need to mention one name, and that is Perez Prado. The album we're going to do today is Big Hits by Prado. And before we get into some of the music, I'll tell you how I first learned about Perez Prado. So it was way back in college days in radio production class. We were assigned a project that said, take this record, and it was Patricia by Perez Prado. And they said, cut it down to 30 seconds to use as a music bed for a commercial. Now, what does that mean? And it's like, that is how things were done back in the day. There was obviously no computers or anything to do that. You had to do that all by, tape and a razor blade and splice tape, and you had to make it perfect. And you had to make it like right on the beat too. So by the way, for anybody who's time traveling, who's here for that information, and they need to go back to like the early 80s, it's 18 seconds in, and the last 12 seconds will cut together perfectly, and you'll get like a 30-second music bed. And that was like the dirty secret that was passed around through the class. The teaching assistants would kind of tell you on the slides, like, you want to just get this done? 18 and 12. But yeah, so that's where I learned about Patricia. And then at the same time, I was, when I was in jazz band in high school, we played the St. Louis Blues by Handy, and so I needed a copy of it. And I'm going through the records at the Salvation Army or whatever, and I find St. Louis Blues Mambo, okay, by Perez Prado, and on the other side is Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White, which was his big hit. Anyway, so I found that, but then I got I got the record too. So, and here, we had it here. Here it is, Big Hits by Prado. It's not in the best condition. I've cleaned it up a little for the audio. Actually, I found I have some of the stuff on CD, so I had that loaded up, but I have something else from vinyl, which we'll get to in just a minute. So, let's start off the top. So, this is what got me into Mambo was Patricia. Maybe it was 12 and 18 instead of 18 and 12. That's what it looks like. And then you skip to the end. Of course, I don't know if that would be the best music bed ever, because all of those horns are in there overpowering everything. But so what? So that was my first encounter with mambo music. And I mentioned, here is Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White. This was his big hit. So you've got that, and then we're going to get into some other songs. And now I need to point out that on the album, if you look at the top, right up there, it says, believe it or not, new arrangements. What does that mean? That means that Perez Prado had recorded all of these songs and made them hits, and he started off recording in Cuba. And he came to the U.S. and recorded these songs, and by the time the late 50s rolled around, I think this came out in 1960 actually, he went in and redid all of his hits and gave it a different feel to it. So even like Patricia, there was an older version of that that did not sound like what we just listened to. And the other thing that happened is like a lot of these songs have the same beat, the exact same tempo. And you can actually, and I've done this, I did this for a project at work, but you can take 3 or 4 of these songs and string them together and just make cuts to you. We should bottom up. And it does not change tempo at all. It's the same. So we're going to start off. This is Mambo number 8. This is a little faster than I said. It's like, but it has those stops in there too, which messes with your tempo. So we go to then A Little Spanish Town. So now listen to this. This almost has almost a swingish sort of sound to it. And that same tempo goes into Mambo Jambo. So it really wouldn't take all of that much effort to string these on an audio software and cut them all together and just make like the super mega mambo mix. Because then you go into Mambo number 5 has that same rhythm. And so if this sounds familiar, of course it is, because it was a big hit for Lou Bega back in 1999. His version of Mambo number 5, which added a whole bunch of lyrics, but used this track as the bass for that. And it has that swing. And the thing is like I said, these are new arrangements of the song, new for 1960. And it was not what I was used to. I found I had an older recording of Mambo number 5, which sounded a lot better, I thought, the rhythm. And here it is on an older album, Mambo by the King, Perez Prado. Again, on an RCA record label. However, it's from the early 50s. Check it out. Now, so you know the Lou Bega version of Mambo number 5. Here is the original. Does not have that same kind of swing sound that those other 3 songs had. It's a very much more, I wouldn't say it's robotic, but it's a very, maybe it is robotic. All I can think of when I hear this is something from the Flintstones, is Barney Rubble dancing. He's like completely still on the top, but the bottom of him is just going fast and furious. That's what it sounds like when I listen to this music. A lot of stopping and starting within this. And it brings up a great question. It's like, which ones are the right versions, quote unquote? And it's like, it depends on what you like. The other thing is like, the collector in me, it's like, I want to get all of these. It's like, how many Perez Prado records are there? How many versions of these are out there? Just from doing these new arrangements on this album, it's like, well, it means that like all the songs, at least there's 2 versions of these things hanging out there. And did he record after that too? And it feels like the record company just kept recycling these songs on different releases. Sometimes you would have the newer stuff, maybe it was some of the older, maybe it was mixed together. So really you have to get like every single album out there to get the complete collection. That's one of my missions, is to get all the Perez Prado records. So I've got a bunch. Some of them actually may not be him, as I'm reading. It's like his name was just kind of plastered on the album cover. So I don't know. It'll be a challenge to get them all, but by God, I'm going to try. So there you go. Big hits by Prado. I love it. Perez Prado, the king of mambo music. What can you say? It's great fun to listen to. So hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next time on Gary's Record Collection.